Hey guys, what's going on? So in today's video, I am very excited because in the video today, I'm going to be talking about this new pair of Helm boots. This is known as the Pablo boot. This is Helm's side zip style. If you caught my last video on Helm, I actually got the black Pablo side zips from Helm, and they were super nice, but unfortunately they were just sized a little large for me. I have that issue with boots that affix to your foot via the instep versus lace-ups. Sometimes I get my sizing wrong on Chelsea's and things like that. So that Pablo was in black Balthazar leather. This Pablo boot is in full grain Rockford leather in brown. I'll get to Rockford leather more in a moment. So I put these on, and they're a little snug at first, particularly in my toe area, but I could tell my alignment is correct. They're not fully broken in. I've only worn them once. I can tell they're my correct size. That black was just a little roomy, particularly in the instep, which is, again, how the boot affixes to your foot. You want that instep to be the right fit there. So like I said, going down a half size though, they are a little narrow with thin to medium weight socks. They definitely work. Again, I'm a 9 Brannock, so going down a half size is definitely my right move because this is built on their 405 last, which is a little bit more rounded out in the toe. And so typically I would recommend going true to size with Helm, but on this particular model, in this particular leather, going down a half was right for me. So I also have their Helm Zind boot. That's on the 415 last, and going true to size, I'm very happy with that fit. It's just a little long, but the width is perfect for me. So if you're between sizes, I would strongly encourage you to consider the last and the shape and everything. So, but yeah, so going true to size is generally my advice. Going a half down on this 405 last was what I recommended. So let's talk about this particular boot a little bit. So I've always been thrown off by side zips. Seeing that Viberg started to run their side zip, they started to bring it back, and it sort of got me to start reconsidering side zips more. They definitely started to grow on me. I was always afraid that I wasn't cool enough to pull off a side zip. Now the black side zip, I'm probably not cool enough to pull off. But this brown side zip, however, I think I might just meet the minimum threshold to pull off a brown side zip boot. So for all intents and purposes, a side zip is just a Chelsea boot. It's just got this zipper on the side that helps you get in and out. And like I said, getting into these, it was a little challenging at a half down, but once my foot was in there, it's perfectly nested in there. No complaints on the fit there. So these are actually my J. Crew Chelsea's. Very similar, you might notice. So yeah, so you can see here, these J. Crew Chelsea's, the color is pretty much the same. The leather's very comparable, actually. So, but as you can see, the Pablo is a little bit shorter, but you can see here what I'm talking about. The instep on the J. Crews, these are also an 8.5. The instep is pretty low compared to the Pablo. The Pablo has a larger instep. And listening to the Stitch Down Shoecast, Ron Ryder, he really opened my eyes to a lot of insights into sizing. He always says that the length doesn't matter, it's the volume that matters. And as you can see, the volume on the J. Crews are less, but the J. Crews are longer. So as you can see in the toes here, the Helm is a little bit shorter, but a lot more volume in the Helm. That's why my foot sort of just nests real well in here, whereas on the J. Crews, my foot is just a little bit, I mean, it's a really good fit on the J. Crews. I wear the J. Crews with medium to thick weight socks, and but yeah, you can just see the volume comparison between each model. The Helm just has a little bit more volume in there. So whereas the length is better, the width on the Helm is a little bit more rounded out, but you can see it's just a little bit more constricted. So I'm always between sizes, and so that's what's going on here. Overall, I'm very happy with the fit. It's a glove-like fit on these Helm boots. This 8.5 is definitely going to be right for my particular foot type. I have sort of a bigger instep. I need a little bit more in the instep there. The instep here is just fine, just a little bit longer. These are just a little bit shorter, but the instep is perfect. Those black Pablos, the instep was just a little bit more out, and I could just tell it was over time as it broke in, it was going to be too big. So anyway, so let's read a little bit about this. So, love this boot. These are stylish in all angles and very easy to break in. Simplicity is key in timeless design. Taking a solid classic and adding small touches to modernize is the goal. With that in mind, the influence for the Pablo comes from an Italian moto boot and a more European-influenced zipper boot. The fine-lined sole adds traction to the leather bottom while keeping a slimmer profile and well-fitting upper, making the Pablo boot a special wear as much as daily hero on the street. Runs large, we recommend sizing down a half size, also available in black. So the construction is going to be Blake Rapid Stitch Welt construction, full grain Rockford leather in brown, medial zipper closure, fully lined with natural leather, Helm signature white midsole, fine line sole, antique brass YKK zipper, 405 lasted, runs large. If you're in between sizes, we suggest taking a half down. Resolable, hand-stitched accent over seam detail on the back, handcrafted in Brazil. So, this Rockford leather is actually from the Bermudez leather tannery in the Dominican Republic. Rockford leather is a hot stuffed leather, much like Chrome Excel and Balthazar. However, Rockford leather is infused with less wax and oils during the tanning process, giving it a slightly more matte finish. Boot Spy says, the Rockford leather is beautiful, durable, and classy. He says that the grain break is pretty significant. The Bermudez Rockford leather is really high quality. Helm uses thick hides, and the construction of the upper is well done. So yeah, so Helm says that the 405 last is wider, has a more bulbous toe box, average D width. So yes, this Rockford leather, it's a little stiff at first, but I can tell it's going to break in beautifully. It's also fully lined. We've got a nice pull tab back here, which facilitates getting in and out of the boot. I've mentioned before, I really love the sole that Helm uses, the fine line rubber sole, in which they carve out a layer of the leather sole and stitch in this rubber sole, this fine line rubber sole, which gives the boot the benefits of having basically a topi in there that will ensure durability. It will ensure that you're not wearing holes through your leather soles. I do love the leather sole for its flex support that it offers. Yeah, with the fine line rubber sole, it gives it just a little added bump of durability and style, in my opinion. Not to mention the infamous white midsole on all Helm boots. Very, very cool stuff. So this Pablo is named after our founder's dear friend since they were teenagers, Paul, who he calls Pablo. Paul is a man who stands true to his dedications, whether it be his faith, his family, or his work. He is highly disciplined and deeply devoted and has always chosen the higher road. We need more Pablos in the world. I thought it would be helpful to actually read a little bit about what Viberg has to say about side zips. Viberg says, in 1923, B.F. Goodrich coined the term zipper for a new style or fastener used on their rubber boots, and the hardware has found its way onto all types of footwear ever since. The side zip boot features a narrow shaft with a full-length zipper on the medial side. The sleek silhouette draws inspiration from vintage military and Western footwear. After a lengthy development period, we are excited to debut this new pattern in a luxurious Italian horsehide. So Division Road also ran a collaboration with Viberg in May of 2019. They did the stone waxed kudu side zip boot, very sharp. The Viberg side zip boot draws equal inspiration from military and Western footwear influences, with a modern take on a motorbike-ready version of an English riding boot, envisioning the wearer coming from the wilds and jumping onto his vintage Triumph or into a battle-ready Aston Martin with the sophistication of 007. We worked to create his footwear to lifestyle pairing. This high-class roughneck boot came to fruition in an uncorrected kudu known for its rigorous grain character with scrapes, scratches, and marks of the field, making each pair, like our agent, one of a kind. The smoked charcoal brown stone wax kudu from England's C.F. Stead tannery is aniline dyed and put through a dried waxing process that yields a durable leather with a natural matte appearance where the unique grain qualities come through. Enhancing the vintage elements of the composition, an antiqued flat welt and midsole are Goodyear welted by Viberg craftsmen using the finest materials. With secret agent style, the stonewax kudu side zip boots are determined to take you to the edge of the world and back with distinguished fortitude. Very, very cool. Yeah, so the Vibergs look a little different. I think the Helms just have a little bit more classy, more of a Chelsea aesthetic to it. So let's compare some other Chelsea styles. So these are my Grantstone Chelseas, size 8.5. more volume on the instep in the Helms, more volume in the toe box in the Helms. And so for that reason, yes, I think that sizing, when it comes to sizing considerations, it's important to remember those things. I think that the volume does look quite comparable, even though the Helms are a little bit shorter. So yeah, in most cases, if we're dealing with Helms with a narrower last, then I would say go true to size. But in this case, the instep is what always gets me with Chelsea's or side zips. I had some Benzines. They were Chelsea boots in blue Shrunken Bison from La Tanning, and they were shorter than my other Chelsea's, but that instep was just so big that the sizing just didn't work out. I had to sell them. So, but for these, the instep locks me in perfectly. I'm very happy with these. My favorite part about this, the double stitches on the back heel stay. I think that's really stylish. So yeah, 260-degree Blake stitch welt. I will leave links to the Helm website below. I'm very blown away. I love the comfort and the simplicity of these and the really badass moto design behind it. So I'm going to be wearing these, and I'll be doing an update video as they get broken in. Leave me your thoughts in the comments below. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I will see y'all in my next video.